Hey everyone, Morgan here. So today's video is going to be kind of short. I had plans to do a different video today, but plans kind of change when your daughter starts throwing up uh, randomly. So she was totally fine this morning. This is Kid Rogue I'm talking about. She was totally fine this morning. And I'm moving. If you notice I'm moving to keep my motion light on. She was totally fine this morning, playing around, totally normal. And then all of a sudden, she starts throwing up. It's right before lunch. And, we were trying to I was making lunch and I was trying to get her to eat. And she was like, my stomach hurts. Well, she says this a lot. She's really into the whole doctor thing, and she loves playing doctor, and she watches some YouTube videos that talk about being sick and taking care of people, and she's very into that whole being a doctor and taking care of people kind of thing, which is great. I think it's cool. But sometimes she pretends that her stomach isn't feeling good or something so that she can get medicine or whatever. So now I have to figure out, are you telling the truth or are you just playing, or, like, does your stomach really hurt? So what I'm saying is she's cried wolf so many times that at this point, when she says her stomach hurts, I might give her, like half a Tums or a little bit of Tums. A 4-year-old can have some Tums. It's whatever. And, you know, just because it's like, I don't want to be a bad mom, but a Tums isn't going to hurt her. It's not going to do anything, besides maybe help her if her stomach really wasn't feeling good, right? So it was literally the second I gave her the Tums. Not the second. I'm being dramatic. It was a couple minutes after I gave her the Tums, she was chewing it up, and then she let it go. She threw up, and then it kind of continued for several hours. Now this has happened a couple times with her before, and it just kind of comes on suddenly, and I think it's because of dehydration. It wasn't even hot this morning, 80 degrees, but kids don't drink a lot, and they don't really care, like they don't care about water or their own health or well-being. They're kids, they just want to run around and play and be crazy, right? And sometimes she says, oh, I'm thirsty, and she gets water, and obviously, sometimes, but she's having fun or whatever, she doesn't stop and think, oh, I need some water. You as the parent, you have to stop and say, hey, drink some water, especially in really high heat conditions. But year round, kids, people, everybody needs water year round. They need food and water, pretty important. um but as parents, we have to distinguish what is wrong with kids, and it's really hard because sometimes kids fake it. I know as a kid I would fake it, try to get out of school, right? um, not all kids do that, but I certainly did that as a kid a few times. Oh, I don't feel good, my tummy hurts, I want to stay home. I'd stay home and just watch TV all day. I didn't do it a lot, but whatever, kids, right? So you as a parent have to distinguish that. And so I think my point that I'm getting at is, um, do you have the necessary tools and skills and knowledge to look at your kids or other people's kids and to try to help them medically? Like when it comes to well, how do you diagnose something, and how do you treat it, and then what do you do after that? Because after we actually did a what one thing that COVID has actually done that's really great is they have allowed clinics and hospitals and things to do, and doctors to do more tele health, which is great. We video chatted with a doctor, and it was really great. And she basically just told us, hydrate, which I kind of figured, but and then like a little anti-nausea medication. But other than that, it was really helpful just to have that. But other than that, I pretty much kind of, I think I hit the nail with she was dehydrated. But she thought the doctor thought it was strep, and I'm not sure. We'd have to get her tested for that. But anyway, my point is, especially with kids, adults, it might be a little bit easier. Adults can tell you a little bit easier, hey, my throat is really sore, it really hurts more over here, oh, well, I feel really like stomach acidy, it feels like this, it feels like that, adults have some sort of baselines or things, that we can say, well, it feels like, I'm getting a cold, I have a headache, I know what these things are. And so I can explain a lot of my symptoms. Kids, they're explaining the symptoms is very basic. It's, you know, um, my stomach hurts. Oh, my ear itches. Where does it itch? On the inside, and then you're trying to explain it. It's really hard to explain it to a kid, stuff like that. And so I just really encourage open communication about that, with you and your kids. It's very, very important that, you help them understand that it's okay to feel certain ways and to be honest and open about it, because we're trying to help you, like we can only help so much, if we know that you're not feeling well, how are you not feeling well, and just try to help them, tell you. And then do you have, the tools and abilities and skills to be able to help them? Do you have the necessary kid medication? Do you have the necessary, thermometers and everything that are very kid specific? There's a lot of medication that I take, that adults take rather, kids can't, and you as parents, we know this, but I think it's a really good reminder for us to go into our first aid and our medicine cabinet and to take a really hard look at our first aid, band-aids, those little boo-boos, right? And medical, and make sure that we have the necessary stuff for our kids. And while you're at it, go ahead and look for the necessary stuff for your pets too. I noticed the other day that we didn't have enough gauze rolls when one of our dogs, oops, that's why I had to keep moving. There you go. When one of our dogs hurt his paw, we had to wrap it. And we only had like 1 or 2 gauze rolls. And I was like, what is this? And I inventoried quite a bit. And for some reason, gauze rolls just didn't really come to mind for some reason. But anyway, I bought like a whole big box the other day. Uh, but yeah, I mean, you live and learn. But, yeah, check for your pets too. Topical creams and things for your pets, and topical for yourself, and topical for your kids as well. It's not all, oral ingesting stuff. It's a lot of topical stuff as well. We have to keep in mind. So this is a very long-winded conversation and a long-winded video that I just wanted to kind of remind you guys, even if you don't have kids, if you know someone with kids, you have friends with kids, relatives with kids, maybe you could help support them by having a couple little things, that might help them, um, for just in case, right? Just being helpful to that whole community aspect, right? Anyway, thank you all so much for listening to my ramble about this. My baby girl is sleeping with us tonight. She's scared she's going to throw up again in her own bed, and she doesn't want to be alone. That's safety and security. So anyway, gotta get back in. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys have been having an all right week so far. I'll talk to y'all later. Conquer tomorrow by preparing today. Talk to you later. Bye.